Let's talk to Angela Levin, though, because I'll tell you who needs a bit of management. That's Harry and Meghan. Their 3 secondary episodes of their ghastly Netflix documentary have landed this morning. She's watched them. Let's get her verdict. Angela, very good morning.
Good morning. Well, I hate to say that halfway through part 2, I fell asleep for seconds. Oh, God. It was, you could work out what they're saying. They've worked it out. So there's something beautiful. They're running across a field in she's got a long white dress. Neither of them have shoes, holding each other's hand. And then they attack. It just goes on and on and on. The things that are really shocking is that when they wanted to, Harry came over for Prince Philip's funeral,
yes,
not for the memorial service, and he made a promise to himself he wouldn't talk about what's going on between the family, but he said in the end he did, and he said that William was shouting at him, King Charles was telling lies. I mean, who are they?
Yeah.
And he gave up because they misinterpreted the whole situation, and they did not account for their vulnerability or genuinely apologise. Now, how can you do that to your family?
I know. And it's so appalling that they've...
millions of people, and they've longed for their publicity, for privacy all the time.
Yes. But it's just, I mean, if indeed all of this was so traumatic, which I don't believe for a minute,
No.
why would you want to revisit it? Why would you want to go on about it and prolong what it is? I mean, there's one headline in all of the coverage in which it says Meghan is quoted as saying, the only way to stop this is for me to leave, right? And so she's now left, but it hasn't stopped because she keeps going with it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's the same thing about saying they hate the royal family and, but they want to keep their titles. It doesn't make sense either way. But if we see one of them kissing, every 2 minutes they have a nice kiss. I mean, it's enough, isn't it?
It really is. I mean, I must admit, listening to some of the coverage this morning as I was driving into work, I thought to myself, with all of the things that are going on in the world, do they have even no sense of self-awareness that, nobody's interested anymore? We had it all last week. Now we've got the second instalment. They really need to just disappear for a while now. But I know that they won't do that. You know that they won't do it because they can't stay away from the limelight. They constantly thrust themselves into it. She managed to make... I made this point to Rupert Bell earlier. You remember when she went off to lay flowers at the spot where those children were shot in Texas, and she made sure there was a camera crew. She made sure that she was dressed the part. It was all very choreographed. These are not people who want to stay out of the limelight because being out of the limelight for them is like death.
Yeah, exactly. The other thing that was really terrible was that they blamed the male for having a miscarriage.
Yes.
I mean, whatever you think of the male, that is not, women who are 40 or over can have a miscarriage. Any woman can have a miscarriage. It might have been driving her mad that they didn't give in to her, but I do think that, you can't actually say those things. It's libelous, isn't it?
Well, I would have thought so. Well, Rebecca English, you've probably seen this morning from the Mail, has written in her piece that their narrative, their allegations that these negative stories were being pushed out to journalists by the palace, specifically by William's people, she says is categorically wrong. She said it'd be great, and you know this better than anybody, you don't just sit there waiting for somebody from the palace to ring you with a story. You talk to people, you get a sense of what's going on. If the palace wants to give you a steer on something, you can ask them. But, they're not sitting there pouring poison out about other people.
They're not there to do your job for you. They're not there to do your job for them. I think this is more examples of Meghan's own truth. Yeah. Because none of us would ever believe any of it. There was another thing I wanted to just say about that. Oh, yes, Brexit, so many lies. They said that, they were talking to the Queen all the time, and then suddenly they couldn't, and she was too busy. She was busy for 1 week, she was busy for 2 weeks. She obviously didn't want to get in on their nags and their hysterics.
She probably was quite busy. She was the Queen,
She is the Queen, exactly. But then when they were on opera, they said they spoke to the Queen all the time to try and sort this out.
Right.
So actually, if you've got any sort of memory, you don't know what's going on because it's absolute. But
also, you know, what did he think? You know, he's born into one of the most privileged families in the entire world. He's benefited from the riches that has given him. He's been to a very good school. He's had a fantastic life. You know, he's had a sad moment when his mother died in a car crash. You know, but for heaven's sake, he isn't hardly in a position to complain, is he?
No, not at all. But on the good side, you know, he's found someone he's desperately in love with. He's got 2 children. You should see where they're living. This is very interesting because masses of land. They've got their own beach. They've got a water slide. They've got everything you could...
hot and cold running nannies. You know.
So why would you do that? You know.
Well, there's a lot more people struggling out there, and I think that people are going to see through it for the greedy, ghastly, gargantuan idiots that they have become. Angela, I've got to run because we're late, but thank you very much indeed for your thoughts. I'm sure we'll talk some more.